Shadowed Battlegrounds presents Pacific War, Japan's nighttime mastery at Savo Island. The moon hung low over the dark waters of the Pacific on the night of August 8, 1942, as the Imperial Japanese Navy prepared for one of its most daring operations. Aboard the flagship Chokai, Vice Admiral Gunichi Mikawa stood on the bridge, his eyes scanning the horizon. The operation, codenamed Operation Ka, aimed to strike at the heart of the Allied naval forces guarding the American landing at Guadalcanal. Mikawa knew the risks were immense, but so were the rewards. The element of surprise would be their greatest weapon. Mikawa turned to his staff officer, Commander Masayoshi Matsumura. "Report on the status of the fleet." Matsumura saluted crisply. "Admiral, all ships report ready. The cruisers Aoba, Furutaka, Kako, Kinugasa, and Chokai are in formation, with the destroyer Unagi providing support. Our reconnaissance aircraft have confirmed the positions of the enemy, and they remain unaware of our approach." Mikawa nodded, satisfied. The night was their ally. With no moonlight to betray their position, the Japanese force steamed silently toward the unsuspecting Allied fleet anchored around Savo Island. Mikawa's plan was audacious: to split his force into two groups and strike simultaneously from the north and south, overwhelming the enemy before they could react. As the fleet neared Savo Island, Mikawa gave the order to increase speed. The powerful engines of the cruisers surged to life, propelling them toward their target. In the distance, the faint glow of the Allied ships' lights flickered on the horizon. Mikawa knew that within moments those lights would be extinguished by the fury of his fleet. At 1:43 a.m., the Japanese cruisers reached their attack positions. Mikawa gave the signal and the night erupted in flames. The first salvo from Chokai's main guns streaked across the dark sky, smashing into the Allied cruiser, HMAS Canberra. The Australian ship shuddered under the impact, her crew scrambling to return fire, but it was too late. The Japanese had struck with precision and ferocity. Commander Matsumura watched through his binoculars as the other Japanese cruisers opened fire. The USS Quincy was next to be hit, shells ripping through her superstructure, setting her ablaze. The USS Vincennes and USS Astoria met similar fates, their decks erupting in flames as Japanese shells found their marks. The scene was one of utter chaos as the Allied ships, caught completely off guard, struggled to respond. On the bridge of Chokai, Mikawa observed the destruction with a steely gaze. The element of surprise had worked perfectly. The Allied fleet was in disarray, their formations broken, their ships burning. But Mikawa knew the battle was far from over. The risk of a counterattack was ever present, and the need to maintain the initiative was paramount. "Signal the fleet to continue the attack," Mikawa ordered. "We must press our advantage." The Japanese cruisers continued their onslaught, moving through the Allied fleet like wolves among sheep. The Kinugasa fired torpedoes into the stricken Quincy, sealing her fate. The American cruiser sank beneath the waves, taking many of her crew with her. The Furutaka and Kako pounded the Vincennes, their guns delivering blow after blow until the American ship was nothing more than a burning wreck. As the battle raged, Mikawa received a report from the lookout. "Admiral, we have sighted additional enemy ships to the east." Mikawa considered the new information carefully. These reinforcements could pose a serious threat to his fleet. He knew that pressing the attack any further might lead to unacceptable losses. His mission had been to disrupt the enemy's operations at Guadalcanal, and that objective had been achieved. The Allied fleet was shattered, and their ability to support the landing force had been severely crippled. "Order the fleet to withdraw," Mikawa commanded. "We have achieved our objective. There is no need to risk further engagement." The Japanese cruisers, having inflicted devastating damage on the enemy, began to pull back. The night sky, once alight with the flashes of gunfire and the glow of burning ships, grew dark again as the fleet retreated into the blackness of the Pacific. Mikawa knew they had struck a significant blow to the Allies, but the victory was bittersweet. Several of the Japanese ships had suffered damage, and the risk of a counterattack was still present. As dawn broke over the horizon, the Japanese fleet was already miles away, heading back to their base at Rabaul. Mikawa reflected on the battle with a mixture of pride and caution. The victory at Savo Island would be remembered as one of the Imperial Japanese Navy's greatest triumphs. If you like this story and want to see more, click on the icon top left. If you want to help support our channel, please hit the subscribe button on the top right.